Hello and welcome to Today's Schools. My name's Sue, and in this week's exciting episode, we get to do some science experiments with the little scientists who attend a specially designed science program at their local high school. We visit Hartwell Primary School to see how their traditional classrooms have been transformed into innovative learning spaces. We talk cyber safety, gadget, kids flicks, and much, much more here on Today's Schools.
You're watching Today's Schools.
Our feature story this week is centred around a program that was initiated by a Year 10 student who wanted to get primary school students more involved in science. He approached the principal at his school, and the rest is history. Every fortnight, a group of little scientists from a mix of local schools are taught big science in a program coordinated and run by the students at the John Monash Science School. Let's see what the kids are learning today.
Hi primary kids. What we're working today with Little Science is Big Science is we're going to look at chemistry. So first off, can anyone tell me what comes to mind when we think about chemistry? Oh, lots of hands.
My name's Daniel Webber and I'm one of the teachers here at John Monash Science School. Also part of my role here is as Assistant Head of Science, and with Sam Shiel, another teacher, and myself, we help manage this Little Scientist Big Science program, which is where we have 20 students from different primary schools come in each fortnight and they spend the afternoon just learning about science at our school. My role, along with Sam Shiel in it, is basically planning and sequencing the lessons, coming up with some of the experiments that the kids will do, meeting with our students. We have about 10 to 12 of our own JMSS students that run the program.
Hi, I'm Marielle. I'm a Year 12 student at John Monash Science School and I'm the coordinator for Little Science is Big Science. My role in the program is to guide the John Monash students. In preparation, we all meet up and we go through each of the pracs, we read through them, we decide who's going to work on each piece, who's going to do a little bit of an intro about the information the kids might need to know for the prac. We go through the safety requirements, the different equipment that we might need. If we haven't used the equipment before, we do a little prep to make sure that we know how to use them.
I wish I could take full credit for the program, but it wasn't actually my idea. One of our students, Lachlan Harkness, who was in Year 10 last year, actually approached our principal and said it would be great if we could get primary school kids involved in science, particularly having such a good school like this where we can do science.
Hi, I'm Lachlan, currently in Year 11 at John Monash Science School. And last year I came up with an idea for Big Science, Little Scientists, which is a program that involves primary school students from around our area to come to our school, use our facilities and engage with our students so they can learn science. I remember back in my primary school days and science wasn't the biggest thing, and I thought how unfortunate I was compared to these days, so I thought why not get kids involved from around our area, come to our school, use our facilities and become more engaged with science, which was the whole aim of the program. So younger kids will see science as something that they really want to do and something really interesting, which I missed when I was a kid. And also it benefits our students as well because we get to be able to explain science better and learn how to really understand science, what it means to be a scientist. I remember going to the principal first off when I came up with the idea, and I thought it was just going to be a small, maybe monthly thing. But everyone really accepted the idea and it really grew quite quickly into a weekly basis thing. And last year it was only one term and this year we've turned it into two, allowing more students to come to the school, which is a really great idea.
The feedback from the program, from the primary schools, from the principals in particular, when we first started, we received numerous emails just saying how much the kids love the program. The students we get here are really quite impressive with what they know about science already. From what the primary schools have told me, because we don't choose the students, they sort of select their own, they get the students to write like a written application or an expression of interest for doing the program. And even some of the work that we've seen, the applications that these students in grade 5, grade 6 are writing, their knowledge of science and really their love for it is just fantastic.
This is actually the second time my school's participated in this program, and it's designed to ignite students' interests and passion for scientific exploration. The students are really excited about participating in it and come back to school with lots of stories about the different experiments and investigations that they've undertaken, and we're hoping that that enthusiasm and interest that they can derive from this experience can then come back to our school and can be shared with other students.
Primary schools do science, and they do science well in a lot of the schools, but the facilities we have here, the whole point of our school is to get people interested in science. So what we really want the program to do is just keep encouraging primary school students to stick with their passion for science as they enter high school.
I like coming to John Monash Science School because it's fun and you get to experiment and learn lots of facts here. And the people here are very nice. They help you a lot when you don't understand what you have to do.
My favourite experience so far has been the flame testing, where there's been some matchsticks dipped in some different liquid metals, and there's been those matchsticks have been put over sort of like a fire thing, and different colours have come out of there because of the different metals.
I enjoy coming here because I learn a lot about science, and it will probably help me in the future if I wanted to be a scientist.
I enjoy coming to John Monash Science School because I enjoy learning new things and doing experiments.
Did you know? It's impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. The moon is 27% the size of the Earth. Knowledge is growing so fast that 90% of what we'll know in 50 years' time will be discovered in those 50 years. The microwave was invented after a researcher walked by a radar tube and a chocolate bar melted in his pocket. Oxygen is the most abundant element in the Earth's crust, waters and atmosphere at about 49.5%. The only letter not appearing on the periodic table is the letter J. Sound travels about 4 times faster in water than in air. The tentacles of a giant Arctic jellyfish can reach 120 feet, which is 36.6 metres in length. Well, now you know. Next up, we see how an innovative principal with a vision managed to transform traditional classrooms into fantastic new learning spaces. Here on Today's Schools. Let's meet Chris Moore, Principal of Hartwell Primary School. Chris had a vision to transform a traditional education space into innovative learning communities. With so many things to consider, her vision combined an old building with new to create functional areas for both students and teachers. And what a journey!
My name's Chris Moore and I'm Principal at Hartwell Primary School. The inspiration for the new learning communities at Hartwell came about when we had the opportunity to modernise and refurbish our school buildings and our classrooms. Each of the flexible learning communities has a teacher workspace which has been absolutely essential in making them successful, has a wet area, has flexible doors and an outdoor learning space so that the students can work outside. The students are able to use a variety of technology such as laptops, which they can use at tables or on the soft furnishings. They can use flip cameras, they can use the microphones, and obviously the interactive whiteboards, which we've got in each learning community, are also very engaging for the students. Instead of being in single grades, 4 home groups or 4 traditional classes of children intermingle on a daily basis inside, so they're working with all their friends, and the children are much more engaged because they're working with more than one teacher with more than one set of skills. Another aspect of the learning community is the fact that it encourages collaboration, and in fact collaboration between the students and between the teachers is really essential. This is important because these young students are going to go out into the workforce where collaboration is essential, and if you ask any employer, they'll tell you that the ability to communicate with other work people is really essential. So we encourage collaboration between the students and obviously as well between the teachers. It's an absolute joy to be principal of this school where the flexible learning environments are working really well. The feedback from the students and the teachers and the parent community has been really positive, and we're delighted with the outcomes that we're getting.
Hello, it's Mr. Gadget again with my friend Bebot. Bebot is a programmable robot we use to teach counting and direction. Let's show you how that's done. We want Bebot to go from here to the garage. What we do is go forward 1, turn right, go forward 3, 2, 3, turn left, go forward 1. Off you go, Bebot. Bebot, helping children count and learn directions.
After the break, we talk cyber safety here on Today's Schools. Hi Cara, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk cyber safety.
Let's do that.
What is cyber safety?
Well, cyber safety is making sure that you're using the cyber world or online technologies or the internet, if you like, in a safe way and a way that means that you're enjoying its benefits as opposed to exposing yourself to some of the risks or negative things that can happen when you are online.
So why is it important to be safe?
It's really important to be safe because there can be things like unwanted contact that occurs in the online world. Sometimes it can lead to cyber crime, so you might have your identity stolen if you're not using it safely. It's important to make sure that you're making other people in the online world feel safe and respected as well. So making sure that you're actually being a very good digital citizen, just like you would be if you were in the offline world.
So what is cyberbullying?
Unfortunately, cyberbullying, just like in the real world, is where we get a situation where perhaps a person or a group of people are treating someone in a way that is making them feel harmed or threatened. Cyberbullying is such that it's using mobile technologies or it's using technology as a way to actually cause that harm. And it can occur in things like social networking sites like Facebook. It may occur via text messages, or it might be a nasty email or a threatening email that someone sends.
What are safe online practices and smart behaviours?
There are a lot of safe things that you can do or smart practices that you can utilise to make sure that you're not lending yourself to some of the risky things that can happen online. So they might include such things as making sure that your privacy settings are really locked down tightly and revisited often if you're using social networking sites. It might be making sure that you regularly change your password so that you can't be hacked or you can't have someone trying to actually steal your private information. It's also about making sure you're not revealing too much of yourself online.
What are schools doing to help kids be safe online?
Well, cyber safety education has come a long way in the last few years, and what we're seeing schools now is make sure that every teacher in every classroom in every subject is making sure that kids understand how to use the online world safely. So if you are in a history class and you're doing research on a particular subject, it's about making sure that the sites that kids are visiting are safe and appropriate material for that age group. It's about making sure that schools have robust policies, so if something does go wrong in the online world, that kids are actually safeguarded and protected from harm. It's about making sure that teachers understand how their students are using technology as well.
What can we do as parents?
Well, as parents, it's really easy to feel as though you're out of your depth when it comes to cyber safety. So it's important for parents to understand exactly what technologies their kids are using and also what sites they're accessing, and to make sure that they understand just how to keep themselves and their kids safe online. So a way to do that is to actually do things like visit the CyberSmart website. On the CyberSmart website, we have a section for parents and we have a section for kids and also for schools. And the reason that we do that is to make sure that everyone in the school community understands technology, understands the rules that relate to proper technology use, so that there's a whole school response if something does go wrong in the cyber safety world.
If I suspect my child is being bullied online, what should I do as a parent?
It's really important as a parent to look out for a change in behaviour with your young person or your child. So if suddenly your child is actually removing themselves socially, they're not so keen to go to school, they may be looking extra tired or unhappy, it's important to have the conversation with them about their online world and whether everything's going okay. If it transpires that perhaps they're not being treated as well as they should be online, well then you need to start collecting the evidence. So the evidence may be taking screenshots of negative comments or messages that they may have received, keeping text messages that they may have received and emails that they may have received. Most importantly, it's really essential that they don't buy back into the behaviour.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Cara, for talking cyber safety with us today.
Thank you very much. And if you need any more advice on cyber safety, I strongly urge you to go to the CyberSmart website. We've got a range of resources that help a number of different audiences, including children and parents in schools. And there's some fun resources on there as well.
Thank you, Rosina, for taking your time today to answer our questions. So what did you do before you were an assistant principal?
Before I was an assistant principal, I was a classroom teacher at Lilydale High School. I taught maths and science, and chemistry was my other major.
How long have you been an assistant principal?
I've been an assistant principal for 4 years now. 2 years here and 2 years at another school.
As an assistant principal in a secondary school, what kind of things do you have to do?
I have to do lots of things, from working with students wherever I can to working with teachers to make sure that they've got everything they need so that they can do the best job that they can in the classroom. So I see that as my major role in the school, supporting teachers in being informed and up to date with everything.
Are you the only assistant principal at the school?
No, I'm fortunate enough to be one of 3 assistant principals here at Doncaster Secondary. So we all have different roles to undertake, and I work with the middle school students, year 7, 8s and 9s mostly.
What is the best part of your job?
Working with students. That's what we love the most.
What do you think about students today?
I think students today are much more confident and capable than they were perhaps when I was a student. They're aware of their skills and what they want to do and how they need to improve themselves.
How does being an assistant principal affect education?
It's got a great impact on education in schools, because we sort of work as the in-between between what the department and their guidelines are and what's happening in the actual classroom. So we work as the middleman, if you like, helping teachers interpret and apply all the new ideas that are presented to us.
Thank you, Rosina, for your wonderful interview.
It's been my absolute pleasure.
Oh, hello, Gadget here. Let's see what's in the cupboard today. Oh, we're out of gadgets. Have you got a favourite classroom gadget? Why not make a Mr. Gadget video and send it to us?
I said goodbye today.
A very special treat here on Today's Schools, a music video from the Bond University Film and Television Awards. Created by Jordan Geyser from City Point Christian College, it's called Raindrop. Enjoy!
They do. I could have liked you. Oh. And if you were a raindrop, I'd catch you in my hand. 'Cause raindrops couldn't fall through the cracks like the sand. And if you were a raindrop, I'd catch you again. But you are no raindrop, so I have to let you go. It is hard to do, to run away from you. Oh, but if you were a raindrop, I'd catch you in my hand. 'Cause raindrops couldn't fall through the cracks like the sand. I wish you were a raindrop.
And that's all we have time for. Next week, we'll bring you more of the exciting world that is Today's Schools.
I said goodbye today. It had to be